What a disaster. There's just no other way to describe it. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, hell, most of the NBA playoffs have been absolutely disastrous for the NBA. But you wouldn't know that if you believe the NBA's press release. No, 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 no! This isn't alarming. This isn't cause for concern. Matter of fact, if you believed Adam Silver in the NBA, ratings for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, it's cause for celebration. Fire up the grill. Let's consume those wieners. Who's bringing the supersized cucumber? Don't forget the rainbow. It would not be a proper celebration without the rainbow. Headline at NBA.com. NBA Finals draws largest Game 1 audience share ever on ABC. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. Are you as confused by that word salad as I am? This press release, it is eerily similar to what we typically see from CNN. Anytime a network or a sports league is struggling in the ratings, they disguise the obvious negatives by accentuating the positives. For example, CNN, they can't brag about their overall ratings because they're in the pooper. So at the beginning of every month, CNN will issue a press release saying, CNN ranks #1 in the world in viewers between the ages of 69 and 70 who are deaf, blind, and access CNN from their Windows 95 gateway computer. Yeah, I'm sure CNN ranks #1 in that highly coveted demo because they are the only network available in the nursing home. Friday afternoon, we saw a similar press release from the NBA. Adam Silver is bragging about setting records on ABC for one particular game of the NBA Finals in the category of audience share. Now, you're probably wondering the same thing I was. What the hell is audience share? It is the percentage of homes with access to ABC who are watching the NBA Finals Thursday night. Now, one of the reasons that the NBA set this record, fewer people have access to ABC than they have in past years, because more and more people are streaming. Also, for some reason, audience share, it is usually larger when the overall size of your audience is smaller, meaning the NBA might have set records in terms of audience share, but their ratings were still in the pooper. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. The other day, when we previewed ratings for the NBA Finals, I think I predicted that the series would average between 11 and 12 million viewers. I didn't go back and check, but I'm pretty sure that's what I predicted. If it wasn't, I'm sure someone will call me out in the comments section. But as it turns out, I was giving the NBA too much grace. I was being too positive. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, it did not come close to 12 million viewers. Now, technically speaking, they didn't reach 11 million either. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, 10.9 million viewers. If you remove 2020 and 2021, which were the years the NBA was dedicated to fighting the good fight against mythical racism, the same mythical racism that they helped create. If you remove those 2 years, this was the least watched Game 1 of the NBA Finals since 2007. Guess who was involved in that series in 2007? Just take a wild guess. KC, was it Peja Stojakovic? He was a huge star! Nah. No disrespect to Peja Stojakovic. I enjoyed his time in New Orleans, but I don't think he made the NBA Finals until 2011, and he was never a star. LeBron James set that record low in 2007, a record that he managed to break himself 13 years later. There is some good news, though, for the NBA, a small glimmer of hope in the midst of all the darkness. Damn near half the audience for Game 1 fell in the 18 to 34 demo. Well, that's great! Yeah, I mean, it's great in the short term. You know what the problem is with the current 18 to 34 demo? I don't think this was necessarily a problem with past generations, but it is damn sure a problem with this generation. The problem with this demo, they have very short attention spans, meaning the 5.5 million who watched the NBA Finals Thursday night, they are highly unlikely to become viewers of the NBA regular season. It is no secret that the NBA has been struggling the past 4 or 5 years. But in past years, there's always been an excuse. 2019, the media blamed cord cutting. 2020, the media blamed the COVID. Everyone is stuck inside with nothing to do but watch television. That's why NBA ratings are so low. If people were not being locked down, ratings for the NBA Finals would be huge. Of course, we all know the real reason that ratings for the NBA Finals hit record lows in 2020. The league was incredibly busy spanking the woke wanker. The NBA was more concerned with ending mythical racism than putting a decent product on the court. And a lot of people found it difficult to find the product on the court because it was hidden by all the propaganda. Lovely messages like, "End racism, basketball is for everyone, inclusion, let's play find the white guy so we can brag about our diversity." 2021, the COVID was blamed again, as well as the matchup between the Bucks and the Suns. And I'm talking about the real Suns. I'm not talking about the group of women in the WNBA who refer to themselves as the Connecticut Suns. If they were playing in the NBA Finals, ratings would be too low to be measured. People who watch the NBA, we are fans of real basketball. We don't find airballed layups and 15-second fast breaks entertaining. But what is the excuse going to be this year? The NBA Finals this year, it is similar to the matchup in 2022, which was the last year the media couldn't make any excuses. On paper, this matchup is fantastic. Should be enough to pull decent ratings. Even though the Celtics don't have a mainstream star, Boston is one of the legacy franchises in the NBA. Hell, they're one of the most popular teams in all of sports. Dallas is a major media market. For the past week, I have been saying that the redemption of Kyrie Irving should be the biggest story in the NBA Finals. Right now, I think it should be one of the leading stories in the mainstream media, but it's not. If you're not a fan of the NBA, you might not even realize that the NBA Finals have already started, because most of the mainstream media, they are focusing on Caitlin Clark. Game 1 of the NBA Finals Thursday night. That should be one of the leading stories going into this weekend, right? What was the biggest story this weekend? Caitlin Clark being excluded from Team USA. Caitlin Clark has completely overshadowed the NBA. 2 years ago, if I told you a WNBA player would overshadow the NBA Finals, you would not have believed me. Now, you can make a strong case that right now, Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in basketball. Every day, she is commanding the attention of the mainstream media. And when the media finally decides to briefly focus on the NBA, it's for all the wrong reasons. Yesterday, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla, he was speaking with the media. Normally, unless you're a diehard fan of the team, these press conferences are rather boring. They are filled with questions like, how are you going to stop Luka Doncic? You're not. What's your game plan going into game 2? How are you going to win? Well, the plan is to score more points than the Mavericks. That way, we are guaranteed to win the game. After several minutes of mundane questions, Vincent Goodwill, he decided to shift the focus to the issues that really matter. The issues that NBA fans really care about. Well, KC, who in the hell is Vince Gill? Well, I think Vince Gill was a country music singer who was somewhat popular in the 1990s. Vince Goodwill, he is an NBA reporter for Yahoo Sports who has dedicated his media career to fighting mythical racism. 4 years ago, Vince Will asked his lonely male followers on Twitter, you know what should disrespect America? Yeah, it was a multiple choice question with only one answer provided. Racism. Of course, Vince, he didn't provide examples of the racism that was disrespecting America, but why let those pesky facts get in the way of pushing your agenda? While the rest of the media was surprisingly focused on basketball, Vince Goodwill, he wasted his time asking Joe Mazzulla a question that no one wanted the answer to. Did you know this is the first time since 1975 that the NBA Finals has featured two black head coaches? If you watched the NBA Finals the other night, did it even cross your mind that two black head coaches were involved? I watch the NBA religiously. I have followed Jason Kidd throughout his playing and his coaching career. You know how many times I thought to myself, it's really great that Jason Kidd is black and he's a head coach in the NBA. That's swell. You know how many times I've thought that? None. Apparently, the fact that two black head coaches are involved in the NBA Finals, this was the perfect woke Christmas gift for Vince Goodwill. Unfortunately for him, Joe Mazzulla, he didn't share the same sentiment. Watch for yourself.
For the first time since 1975, this is the NBA Finals where you have two black head coaches. Given the plight of black head coaches in the NBA, do you think this is a significant moment? Do you take pride in this? How do you view this, or do you not see it at all?
I wonder how many of those have been Christian coaches.
Good for Joe Mazzulla. Obviously, this dude is an expert at combating deacons at Woke United Methodist. Did you notice how silent the room was when Joe Mazzulla responded to that ridiculous question? After a few seconds, the moderator decided to give the mic to a real NBA reporter, David Aldridge. But the silence was absolutely deafening. Joe Mazzulla, he utilized the secret weapon when dealing with a deacon. If he asks you a question related to the woke commandments and you want him to go away, all you got to do is mention Christianity. When deacons hear that word, it causes temporary muteness. I cannot believe that NBC is about to overpay for the NBA. I mean, I understand why ESPN's overpaying. They would probably cease to exist without the NBA, but NBC, they don't need it. I cannot believe they are willing to pay billions of dollars for a league that has been on a steady decline for the last 5 years. Like I said, what is the excuse this year? Can't blame the woke wiener, can't blame cord cutting, can't blame the Covey. Why is the NBA struggling? You tell me, is it lack of star power, or even worse, is it lack of interest? Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.